For privacy reasons, the names of individuals involved in this case have been changed. Stay tuned. One day, in the summer of 2014, in a quiet park in Waukesha, Wisconsin, a terrifying story unfolded. A brutal attack that was the result of something unimaginable. 3 12-year-old girls, seemingly innocent children, planned and carried out a heinous act that no one could believe. They were not ordinary criminals, but children haunted by a fictional creature called Slender Man, who they believed could give them unlimited power and could harm them if they did not follow his orders. So what happened to make these two girls, in a state of paranoia, commit such a crime against their best friend? How did a story that seemed only possible in video games and horror websites turn into such a terrible reality? Follow along to discover this terrifying, dramatic, and mysterious story where the deviousness of fantasy and reality turns a child into a murderer, where every unsolved mystery contains secrets that want to be revealed. Step into the darkness and explore them with us. Don't hesitate to leave a like as an encouragement for us, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to update the most classic cases. On May 31, 2014, in Waukesha, Wisconsin, USA, an attack that shocked the United States occurred, in which 2 12-year-old girls plotted and carried out the act of stabbing their classmate to the point of near death. The incident is widely known as the Slender Man stabbing, originating from the perpetrator's belief in a fictional online character named Slender Man. Emma Green, 12, was one of the 2 main perpetrators in the brutal attack. Emma was described as a quiet, shy girl who was easily influenced by others. Although she appeared to be a normal student, Emma's psychology contained signs of someone struggling with mental health issues. She strongly believed in the existence of Slender Man, a creature created from online horror stories. Emma believed that to please Slender Man, she needed to prove her loyalty regardless of the consequences. It was Emma who took the knife and carried out the attack on her friend Olivia. Sophia Turner, 12, was an accomplice and was involved in the plan to kill her friend. Sophia was the one who helped Emma plan, creating a reasonable excuse to take Olivia out to a secluded area and away from her. The girl also shared her belief that Slender Man could give her power and would harm her family if they failed to complete their mission. Although Sophia did not directly stab Olivia, she played a significant role in motivating Emma to commit violence. Sophia was somewhat impressionable and often followed Emma's ideas, even if they were wrong. Olivia Johnson, 12, the victim of the attack, was also Emma's best friend before the incident. Olivia was an introverted girl, but very friendly and sociable. She played with Emma and Sophia and participated in school activities together. However, when the incident occurred, Olivia was unaware of the plan that her friends had hidden. She was lured into attending a playdate, but did not expect that she would be the target of a brutal attack. After being stabbed 19 times, Olivia tried to crawl out of the deserted area, and luckily she was discovered and saved by a passerby. Olivia's resilient and brave actions helped her survive this terrible attack. Before the attack, Emma and Olivia were very close friends. They both studied in the same class and shared common interests. However, this relationship changed after Emma began to believe in Slender Man and was drawn into the virtual world of online horror stories. The relationship between Sophia and Olivia also started from their closeness in the classroom, but Sophia was gradually influenced by Emma and joined her in the assassination plan. Although Olivia had no idea about the plot to kill her, she was fascinated by the stories and the seemingly harmless friendship between the 3. Olivia is not only a victim, but also part of a complex relationship between 3 girls. A relationship that has been manipulated and broken by the influences of online fiction. On the morning of May 31, 2014, 3 girls, Emma, Sophia, and Olivia, began what seemed like a normal morning. Emma had invited Olivia to stay the night before, a gathering like any other. However, That morning, Emma and Sophia planned to brutally attack Olivia, influenced by the story of Slender Man, a fictional character they believed in and worshipped. While the three girls were walking in a nearby park, Emma and Sophia began to lead Olivia to a secluded area of the park where no one was around. They deceived Olivia into thinking they were going to play and relax on a walk. However, in just a moment, what would happen was far beyond Olivia's imagination. Suddenly, Emma Green, who is said to have a strong influence in this relationship, pulled a kitchen knife from her bag. The girl quickly attacked Olivia, stabbing her a total of 19 times. The stab wounds were extremely brutal, hitting dangerous areas on Olivia's body, including her chest, abdomen, legs, and liver. Many of the stab wounds were extremely dangerous and almost took Olivia's life instantly. As Olivia collapsed to the ground, bleeding profusely, Emma and Sophia showed no remorse. They abandoned their friend without hesitation. Olivia, in a weak and barely able to move state, still tried to survive, but without help, Olivia was left in the middle of the forest, where there was only silence and the cruelty of the children who attacked her. After their brutal act was completed, Emma and Sophia had no intention of calling for help or helping Olivia. Instead, the two girls left the victim and began walking for about 8 km, with only one goal in mind: to find Slender Man's castle, an imaginary place that they believed was inhabited by the creature they worship. Slender Man, in their imagination, was an entity that could grant them supernatural powers and protect them from all dangers. Emma and Sophia believed that this act of murder would prove their loyalty to Slender Man, making them truly his loyal servants. Therefore, they did not feel any guilt or remorse after their actions. However, while Emma and Sophia began their journey to find Slender Man, a miracle occurred. Olivia, despite being severely injured and almost completely exhausted, still tried to crawl through the woods. She had lost a lot of blood, but did not give up hope of survival. After a long time and in a very weak state, Olivia was finally discovered by a cyclist who called for help. Police and emergency services quickly arrived at the scene, taking Olivia to the hospital in critical condition. Doctors did their best to save her, and after a long surgery, Olivia survived, although her injuries were very serious and would leave her with lifelong scars. Olivia's survival, through her tenacious and arduous journey, is a miracle and a testament to the strength of human beings in the most desperate of situations. After the shocking Slender Man stabbing case, the two young girls who committed the crime, Emma Green and Sophia Turner, were charged with serious crimes, including first-degree murder, a crime usually only applied to adults. However, given the age of the 12-year-old defendants, the trial process became complicated and unique, with many legal and psychological issues to address. Emma Green was assessed as having a complex mental condition with a diagnosis of schizophrenia. Psychologists determined that Emma had severe problems distinguishing between reality and fantasy, and that this strongly influenced her actions in the attack on Olivia. Emma was obsessed with stories about Slender Man and believed that she had to commit murder to prove her loyalty to the creature. In 2018, after a lengthy trial, Emma pleaded guilty to attempted murder and was sentenced to 40 years in a psychiatric hospital. The decision was made by the court after considering Emma's mental health and the need for long-term psychiatric treatment. Detention in a psychiatric hospital rather than a prison was determined to be the most appropriate solution to protect both her and the community and to enable her to receive treatment for her mental health issues during her detention. The court found that it was necessary for Emma to be held fully accountable for her actions, but also to ensure that she received appropriate psychological support. Despite the long sentence, Emma may be re-evaluated for her rehabilitation and reintegration into society in the future if her mental health improves. Sophia Turner, although also a perpetrator in the attack, was assessed to have a clearer cognitive ability than Emma. According to psychologists, Sophia did not show signs of serious psychological problems like Emma. Instead, Sophia was strongly affected by Emma's influence, and her belief in Slender Man but still had a better ability to distinguish between reality and fantasy. Sophia pleaded guilty and did not deny her actions. She was sentenced to 25 years in a mental health facility, where she will receive the necessary psychological care and treatment. However, Sophia will not be sentenced to a regular prison, but will be in a specialized medical facility for psychological and physical rehabilitation. In 2021, after serving part of her prison sentence and being evaluated for her psychological condition, Sophia Turner was released on parole. This decision to release Sophia is not a pardon, but rather part of Sophia's rehabilitation process, with the condition that she will be strictly monitored by the authorities during the probation period. This process includes participating in psychological therapy and regular checks to ensure that she is not at risk of reoffending. This conditional release has caused much controversy in the community and among experts. Many believe that Sophia still needs to stay in a mental health facility for a longer period to ensure psychological stability before she can reintegrate into society. However, the decision to release Sophia also reflects the belief in her ability to recover, if properly monitored and supported. The Slender Man stabbing case has sparked widespread debate about the impact of the internet, particularly creepypastas, adolescent mental health, and the responsibilities of families, schools, and society in supervising and supporting children. The attack has prompted researchers, psychologists, and social organizations to rethink the impact of the virtual world on children's behavior and mental health. Here are some of the key issues highlighted by the case. Creepypastas, horror stories widely shared on the internet, have become part of online culture, especially among teenagers. However, not all stories are understood simply as entertainment. One of the most prominent figures in the creepypasta universe is Slender Man, a tall, black-clad, faceless imaginary creature who is the subject of many creepy stories that are spread through online forums. The Slender Man stabbing case highlights the potential dangers of exposing children to these stories without proper supervision. Although these stories are considered fictional, they can have a profound effect on children's imaginations, especially when they lack the ability to differentiate between reality and fantasy. In the case of the two perpetrators in the case, Emma and Sophia, they became so engrossed in the Slender Man story that they believed they had to kill a friend to prove their loyalty to the character. This is a clear example of how a virtual element can influence children's real-life actions. The case also highlights an important question. Do stories like creepypasta have a responsibility to control how they are viewed, especially by children? Organizations have called for stronger protections to prevent children from accessing inappropriate content online. Furthermore, websites like Creepypasta Wiki have since issued clear warnings that all content on the site is fictional and should not be taken as fact, but the effectiveness of such warnings is still debated. One of the major issues in the case is the mental health of the perpetrators. Both Emma and Sophia were 12 years old, a time when their ability to understand the consequences of their actions is not yet fully developed. Although adolescence is a critical time for psychological development, many studies have shown that children have not yet fully developed the ability to understand consequences and control their actions. This is particularly important in this case, where the girls' murders were not impulsive or completely out of control, but were influenced in part by a deep-seated belief in Slender Man. Psychologists believe that Emma, who had serious psychological problems such as schizophrenia, did not fully understand the seriousness of her actions. This highlights an important issue. Children can be deeply influenced by external factors, such as the virtual world or an unstable home environment, without understanding the consequences of their actions. Furthermore, while Sophia was not diagnosed with severe psychological problems like Emma, she was still strongly influenced by Emma and her belief in Slender Man, suggesting that the psychological development and ability to distinguish between reality and fantasy at this age is a key factor in understanding the girl's actions. The Slender Man stabbing case raises important questions about the responsibilities of parents, schools, and society in monitoring and supporting children's safe access to online content. In this case, both Emma and Sophia lacked appropriate supervision from their families and schools, leading to serious wrong decisions. Parents have a responsibility to protect their children from potential dangers online, including controlling the content that children are exposed to. In many cases, parents are not aware of the dangers of content such as creepypasta and unregulated websites, which can lead to unforeseen consequences. Schools also play an important role in monitoring students' behavior and psychological development. Schools need to have appropriate educational programs to help students become more aware of the negative impacts of the internet, and also need to provide psychological support for students to detect early signs of psychological problems. Ultimately, society needs to create a safe and supportive environment for children. This includes not only measures to protect against negative online influences, but also educating the community about issues related to mental health and child development. The Slender Man stabbing case is not only a serious criminal event, but also a lesson about the potential dangers in the virtual world and how they can influence children's behavior. This case has created a wave of debate about the need for better protection for children against negative influences on the internet, as well as the responsibility of families, schools, and society to supervise and guide children safely and effectively. Can we control the influence of the virtual world on children? And how can we ensure that fantasy does not turn into dangerous real-life actions? The story of the Slender Man case is a poignant reminder of the role of families, schools, and society in protecting and guiding future generations. So, are we doing enough to protect them? Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed this story and want to dive deeper into more intriguing mysteries, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update.